they got the call I was in school, but that was just like I gaslit. I was like, oh, like they're tripping. I was there, like I was pulled up late.
First light skinned nigga to ever admit he gaslit.
Greetings all, and welcome back to another episode of your beloved bi-monthly broadcast, Harlem's Very Own, featuring as always your three illustrious co-hosts. Speaking first, and Happy Black History Month, of course, yes, of course. It's Justin Khalil Winley, aka King Khalil, aka Obi-Wan Shinobi, aka Riverbank Romeo, joined by my boys.
Yo, what's up? It's Steffers-Wilson, a.k.a. The Last Airbender, a.k.a. the Michael Jordan of dropping drawers.
That's crazy.
True, baby.
It was one of those where you have to stop and think about, wait, what did he just say?
So somebody had a request, so I had to put something in their request.
And our third mic.
Oh, hello everybody. It's your boy Ahmad Simmons, a.k.a. Mommy's Milk and Millwalker. And that's it, I think that's it for that one,
I think that's quite enough.
I think,
but that was crazy.
It just happens. I'm like, I didn't say that today. We have an amazing person, an amazing entrepreneur, an owner of a growing company. He's been one of my guys since we were kids in Sunday school. And now seeing him thrive on social media, but also in person, I gotta look up to this man right now because the motherfucker's like 6'7". But I really appreciate this guy. And sir, I want you to introduce yourself to the peoples.
What's going on? My name is Grant Solis. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but now reside out in Harlem, as where we are right now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, it's a pleasure being here. Appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we're going to get it going, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fun.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right, what was Ahmad like at Sunday school?
Damn,
that's great. Ahmad was always outgoing. Like he was involved in he's involved in everything. He had his foot in the door and everything.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Ahmad. He's in the Blue Nile and stuff like that. And then he came like, He always had this wisdom to him too. Like he was speaking like he was like 80 years old when he was like 15. He's just like he had wisdom to him, but not in a good way. And like leading young brothers to success. I'm like, yo, how old is this brother? Like,
I was doing a good amount of shit. I was just leading the Sunday school, doing like the announcements, and I was like the worship leader. That's what it was called.
You were a worship leader. Dope.
Yes. It was. I don't know if Mom's gonna hear this, but I love you. It was a time I did it with a crazy ass hangover. Oh. And nobody knew. Nobody knew. They had us sing in front of the children, and I wanted to throw up so badly in front of these kids, but I was still singing, and I kept looking at their cute, precious faces, and I was like, one wrong move could be
fatal,
traumatizing.
One booger from a child is gonna send him through the edge.
But no, every time that I saw Grant, he always had a suit on. He always did.
Started early, did it?
He always had suits. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Mom and Pops made me put that suit on reluctantly every Sunday.
Was there days
in the morning
you just wanted to just bring in a hoodie and sweatpants and just be in?
For sure, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I definitely, try to cheat my way out of outfits a little bit. Just try to dress it down a little bit more every time. Like, all right, I might put the blazer on today, maybe just the shirt.
Yeah.
And all right, let's not do the suit pants. Let's do a jean, and a boot. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, for those of us who grew up in church, we're accustomed to having to put on the Sunday best, so to speak, and go and dressed up. So to now be an adult and to have become in fact, a fashion influencer on Instagram. You've taken ownership over your own style, right? I guess
that's very true. Yeah.
You talk a bit about that.
I guess the journey kind of started like when I was in like high school. You try to compete. You try to have like the freshest sneakers growing up. You know what I mean? As it is growing up in New York City, like you had to have those J's on to be fly. You know what I'm saying? So it became like, oh, we're like trying to get the new Jordans, like trying to get the Jordans.
Yeah.
And I remember that this is how it kind of like all started. Is that my uncle, I guess he had Jordans back in the day, like when he was growing up. So he had some of the original Jordans, and he had moved out my grandmother's crib, and he had some pairs up there. And he was like, hey, like I moved all my stuff out, like whatever you find is yours, basically. And I was like, word. So I went up there, and I was moving through stuff. There's so much stuff around, debris, like no one been up there in years. And I was like, I found a pair of 2001 Jordan Bred 11s. And I remember that, and at the time, like the 11s were just like everything. Like, this is like popping. This is like 2011, 2012, like the Concord, everything was just like the Jordan 11 was it. When I found those, I was hyped. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like these are just super fly. And they were the not the original ones. The original ones came out in '96, I believe, but there was the first retro. So like the older ones at the time had more value than the newer current ones. Because they were harder to get, like they were the original ones. Yeah. So I remember I consigned those. I sold them, and I sold them. And I made like $300-something after the consignment fee. I went to Flight Club and they had used sneakers, and I consigned those. And after I did that, I used the capital of that just to kind of like buy and resell shoes, so I could get more money, so I could buy more. So that's, and then when I was doing that like how old was I? I was like maybe like 12, 13. Okay. I was young.
Now, when you say consign, for someone, not me, who doesn't know what that means, not me, someone else, what is consignment?
Consignment is, so like some sneaker stores will have, they don't actually own any of the product. Like everyone consigns their stuff. So they bring it in, and it's basically like,
it's like a resale.
Yeah, it's a resale store, and everyone brings their stuff, and then it's like, when it sells, it's 80-20 you, so you get 80%, and then the store gets 20%. Gotcha. So they basically, it's just a consignment shop, so like everything like belongs to other people. Right. And I remember I consigned those, and then I just use capital from there to like go to sneaker conventions and stuff like that. And at the time, like reselling sneakers were just so up. Like some people didn't know about the resale games. Like you have opportunity to buy some shoes that people didn't know the value, and you're able to flip them and make money. So I would go to these conventions, and I was able to flip sneakers and stuff like that and make money. So I would go there, maybe like, I used some money that I did from the Bred 11s, and I just kind of stacked that. I made like $1,000. I went there, and I remember one time I left for like $3,500 or something like that for my $1,000 after a few hours. I was like, money. It was up. It was up from there, and that's kind of how I started getting into fashion and clothes. Cause like I had all the sneakers, and I remember like all the kids were like, "Yo, like how do you have all those sneakers and stuff like that?" And I just like, I had an entrepreneurial mindset of just like reselling sneakers at such an early age.
To the other sixth graders.
Not necessarily to other kids. I was selling to grown men. I was selling to anyone who was buying it, to be honest. Oh, wow. So, like whoever is buying the shoes, like, there were, like, sneaker conventions. Those conventions. Like, everyone would go to buy, sell, and trade shoes. Right. So, I would go to those a lot. Have my dad take me and stuff like that when I was at a young age. And then it was all about, like, now I got the sneakers as, time evolved. I got into high school and stuff like that. You had the fit to match the sneakers. You had to be fly. It wasn't just about the shoes. Now it's about the whole look and together, and that's when I started getting into various designers and stuff like that. And that's kind of how the whole journey took place. I just got into designers, and then once I started getting into designers and stuff like that, I just started taking outfit pictures. I just like started taking pics. People call me crazy. People were like, "Oh, like what are you doing?" I remember after school.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah, like who do you think you are? And I had all like the trends before like people even got on it. So I was like, "Yo, like what is he wearing? Like skinny denim?" And then like everyone jumped on skinnies like later. So I just like I always saw like the vision like before it was it came into
ahead of the
mainstream eye, I guess. Yeah, I always decided to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's really interesting that like. It started from the ground up with your shoes first, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of people, particularly particularly young black and brown people get into like, fashion is through the sneakers, because it's tied into the athletics for one thing. So like, because we're usually socialized to be aware of what athletes are wearing or what rappers are wearing on their feet, then that's like, I remember when I was in middle school, the big thing was foam posits.
Oh yeah. I had all the foams too.
You had foams?
Oh yeah.
I never got them. First of all, I thought they looked ugly. That was just me. But also, like all the ball players in middle school wanted
You're
foams.
also not a ball player.
That's it. Well, no, I'm saying, there's one and two things. I didn't have the qualifications to wear them in the first place, but I just remember that being such a big thing, and it was like everybody had to get them.
Nah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, the phones were lit. They had their time for sure.
Can you remember a time, being that you started so young, and you feel like you've typically been ahead of the curve? Can you remember a time where there was a trend that was happening or that you felt might happen that you were not interested in? Like somewhere like everyone's wearing this sneaker and you don't like it, or everyone's wearing this jacket, you don't like it. Like when Supreme came out, like I don't know, or anything like that.
Did you buy the crowbar?
I did have a brick actually. I did have a brick.
I'm sorry.
The Supreme brick.
It was right there. The joke was right there.
I did have the Supreme brick. I remember getting that. Yeah, I was super into Supreme growing up and stuff like that. But that was it. And also, like, I had an advantage being in New York City because a lot of this kind of stuff, there was a bigger market for people that were not in New York City at the time. So if you weren't here to have access to some of those stuff that were dropping, like I remember I would go to the Supreme drop. Like on Thursdays, I was so lucky. We had a half day at school on Thursdays, and that was the day that Supreme would do the drop. So I remember like after my half day at school, I would just pull up to Supreme and try to get as much stuff and try to resell it as possible.
It's as if they knew.
Exactly. And there was a huge market because like the stuff on Supreme.com would sell it immediately, but there was a lot more stock in the store. So if you got there, like at that time, if you got there around like, before like they closed, like you were able to get your hand on something that dropped. So it was nice, and then you could flip it to people that were not in New York City. So that's kind of how I kind of started out. I can't really think of any major trend at that time that I just wasn't a fan of.
Any major trends now that you're not really a fan of? Anything in the present moment?
Oh, definitely, for sure. There's a lot of trends I don't like nowadays. That pertain to social media, mainly like social media problems nowadays. Like I feel like people would just copy and paste. Like they see something and just copy and paste. Like it becomes like, if it's a sound, like people would just all like make videos to that same sound, or like like kind of do the same kind of things in order to blow up and stuff like that. It was just kind of like, in my opinion, it's corny. But to each his own.
Well, of course,
trying to say too much.
Yeah, since style is such a personal thing,
right? It's also more accessible now, for sure.
Yeah, but when you see, it is probably easier to see like when there's a template of aesthetic that's being copy pasted rather than an authentic presentation.
Exactly, and you could just kind of like do that, and then it'll get glorified a lot more than individuality.
Interesting.
At the moment.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you kind of want to make it like you could draw influence, but the copy and paste, and it's like.
We'll definitely circle back to that one.
Like what makes it you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Gents, any questions?
What did your parents feel about, or what did they think about when you were doing all this business when you were like 12, 13 years old?
They loved it. They told their friends, know what I mean? Like, at that time, I was making like thousands of dollars just by reselling stuff, and I was
that's crazy. Your parents were like your enforcers. They were like,
and it was all my money that I got from that one pair of shoes. Like it was just all like stacked up on each other like that. Like I probably still have some of that money to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like.
And I'm thinking about this right now, and I'm like, what if I would have put myself in that situation? To I told my mom, like, hey, Ma, I'm like doing this business here. Like, I got someone getting these shoes for me, and I'm getting that money from there. I think my mom would probably be like, so you scamming people? Like, no, that's not the case, Mom. Like,
you out here running these streets.
She was always. My mom was never a fan of Jordans or anything fly sneakers.
There's an association with them. That I think
she was like,
scary.
Said, you're not gonna have me in a line at so and so in the morning trying to get these sneakers, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
But,
what's the longest you've ever waited for a drop? Sorry, I was sorry to cut you off,
Hey, no,
but
I
that
mean,
made me
that's
think of
a
that.
valid question.
The
That's a valid
longest
question.
I ever waited for a job personally was maybe like 6 hours. Damn. Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
On
6,
and
7
that's in
hours, 6,
person,
7
not
hours.
like online.
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you and with that 6 hours, do you remember exactly what shoot that was?
Yes, I remember for the Supreme Yankees collab, and
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
when that came out, I waited online for that for sure. And that was in 2015, I think, or 2014, one of those
What was
years.
it like? It was a bad.
It was like box logos and like just like
Oh,
Just
a lot
prints
of
on,
stuff.
on it.
Yeah, screen prints, yeah. And I remember that was crazy because I know like whenever the Supreme released a box logo, like they were going for a lot more money.
Yeah.
Like, they were releasing for like maybe like $40, but they resell for like 200, like 250.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get as many as possible so I could sell them.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
so I remember waiting online for those. In the good old days, you could just kind of pull up and just wait online, and you could maybe get something. I remember that I waited online for quite a while for that. I remember I skipped school for that one.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. If anyone's
That was
listening,
one
no,
of the first times I ever
he
skipped
did
school.
not
But I
do
had
that.
to skip school and get that and get that.
I mean,
Like,
Did your parents know?
you skipped
Nope,
school
they
and
did
got
not.
like $1,000.
Yeah. They did not know. I remember they got the call. They got the call I wasn't in school, but that was just like I gaslit. I was like, oh, like they're tripping. I was there. Like I pulled up late.
The first light skinned nigga to ever admit he gaslit.
Definitely gas. I was like, I pulled up late. Like they called you after first period, but I missed first period because like I just missed first period. Like I was late.
I having a nice like an end. We just
And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, where? Truancy used to come by the lines at Supreme. Make sure everyone was
Oh,
18
wow.
on those lines to make sure
You had to make
kids
sure you were
weren't skipping
18
school.
on those lines?
To make sure people are not skipping school.
Oh,
makes sense.
'Cause a lot of high schools would be trying to skip school to get that stuff to try to make
Niggas
sure
still
everyone
did
skipped
that
school. Oh yeah, for sure. But
imagine using a fake ID for sneakers instead
That's
of like
crazy.
alcohol. But I guess like
It's
did
not
you-
like
Literally.
he's out like getting drunk at like
Yeah.
2 in the
Yeah.
afternoon or something.
they're trying to make sure that kids don't skip school to get clothes and stuff like that.
I
Like, you know what I'm
never knew
saying?
about that.
I didn't know about that part
I remember
either.
that.
I used to watch
I remember
Complex all the time when they would do
The complex news was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, now they
Complex-
dead.
That was
Yes.
lit. That was lit.
That was at the time when Supreme and this one dude who was like repping Bape all the fucking
Oh,
time.
that guy.
The eight
Yes.
guy? Yeah, I remember
Oh
him.
my goodness.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to the homeboy, but I'm like, have you ever like had a time where you saw him like at one of the events?
I did see him a few
Okay.
times. Yeah. We were scared at the time because he was big as hell, man.
He
He
was
was
like, fuck
tormenting
Supreme.
people that were wearing Supreme.
Yeah.
Like, literally like beating people up that were wearing Supreme. Like
shit.
for their
I didn't
video.
know that.
Yeah, he was crazy. So,
do it for the Vine.
like he went
Yes.
to jail and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
he got locked up.
Oh, because
Yeah, like he was doing the most. Like,
The most.
Way
Literally,
too
bro.
much.
it was crazy.
so Greg, my brother, you say you were part of Kanye West season 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeezy
the Yeezy
show,
three
right?
show.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And what was the process of you like getting that position? Like who put you on to like tell us about that, which you said that, you know, change your course of like what you want to do.
Nah, for sure. So basically, like at that time when I was kind of like posting a little bit of outfit pictures on Instagram and stuff like that, like so I was getting like a little bit of traction, but nothing too crazy. I probably had like 2,000, like 2,500 followers. So like, at the time it was lit. I was like, oh, like
Of course.
this one, like
It's more than I have
this is
now.
what I was saying. I was like, okay, like okay, like getting some traction.
Yeah.
And I was just literally like, I was in Soho and I was just walking around with some of my friends, and this woman like literally like is like calling after me like down the block, like calling, like she was like, oh hey.
She was
me,
like
sir.
16,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
Let me
I was, like,
tell you
16.
something.
Yeah. I was like 16, yeah. 16. Yeah, she was like, yo, like I want to take your digitals for a casting. And I let her take my
Okay.
digitals. I was like,
Wow.
okay, interesting. And I was like, who's the casting for? Like what's the casting for? And she's like, Yeezy. I was like, oh.
All right, bet, let's go.
I was like, oh, it's Yeezy? And my whole body switched up quick. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
where? I had no idea, like, because she was like, just like so all over the place. I was like, oh, like, I didn't know, like, she was working, like, she happened to be Kanye West's assistant. And I was like, oh, shit, that's crazy. And then so I did took the digitals, and she invited me to the casting. She got my number and stuff like that. And then I went to the casting. The first day was invite only, and it took all day. I remember I got to skip school. Like I went with my mom, and she brought me to the casting and stuff like that. And there's just so many people there. It wasn't that many people, but maybe like a couple hundred. But then it just took so long to get to the casting. Like everyone's taking pictures and
of course,
huge line. It took all day, literally like hours. And then I left. I was like, oh, like we'll see if I get it. You know what I'm saying? I remember I saw Lil Yachty there. It was good. Like it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like Kanye tweeted it, like open casting.
Mm.
Like so the next day, and then like I think like 15,000 people showed up.
Wow.
You know that to the casting.
So you were.
So I was like, oh yeah, like
You were
I'm
in the
definitely not gonna
premium
get selected
batch.
for this. Like, you know, like and people said that they were there like literally all day, like like trying to like, you know, get in the show. So I was like, all right, like you know, like.
But you were
1,000 people
handpicked though.
I
mean,
know,
in
yeah,
a
so
sense,
I
like
thought like it was a little bit better, but I was probably like she probably like I don't know what she was on. Like I was like she probably like just trying to get people to pull up. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know and didn't think much about it. I remember I hit her back and I was just like, oh, like thank you for the opportunity, and she didn't respond. And I was like, oh yes, Claire. Like I definitely didn't get selected.
Yeah.
And then I remember like I followed up. This is like 2 days before the show or something like that. I followed up and she like hit me up. She's like, so sorry to hit you. Like you've been selected. Like you're in. Like show up for like rehearsals at this time. I was like, what?
Wow.
And I was in the show. And yeah. That was a crazy experience. And then I got to like spend like the whole day rehearsing. Got to like work with Kanye. Stuff like that to be in the show, and then like showed up to the casting. Showed up to the day of the show and like went through it and like was in the show, and then got my jumbotron moment on Madison Square Garden, and then yeah.
So
the rest of that,
this was a runway
was up.
situation, wasn't it?
No, it was the shit. Was it the listening party for Pablo?
It was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and Madison Square Garden, yeah.
Wow.
And
But they had you
they
all
had the model just
wearing-
like in all easy, just like
Yeezy.
kind of standing there like on the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when they're all like,
Yeah. Still, I remember so loud like in that building.
really?
It was just
I'm
so
sure.
loud.
What were you thinking the entire time the show's going on? Because you just got to be there stoic,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a statue.
hella stoic. Yeah, just like posted. I was just like,
Like, nigga, I'm hungry.
yeah. It was so loud that I was like, yo,
I'm gonna go deaf.
I was like, yo, I gotta. Like, I remember at a certain point, I was like, I just gotta like go back, run backstage, and like dip. Like, I was like, it's too loud.
Yeah.
It was like it was the loudest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
like by far.
Well, because you have like the
was so
audience,
loud.
so you have the music.
Yeah, the
that's
music
being played, too.
was loud, like super loud, like the bass
Shit.
was nuts. You have to be like stoic, like standing there, like trying to look majestic or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
What was the direction that they gave you?
It was just like be still
Just be still.
as possible.
Uh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, word. And the music, I was like, my head was booming. I was just like, just like grab my head and leave. But,
So how'd you like stay there? How'd you just like stay in tune? Like, yo,
At the zone
I was
out.
a huge Kanye fan, and I still am. And so it's just like, you know, this is a
This is a priceless
opportunity of my lifetime.
experience.
At the time, I was like 6 in high school. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just gotta, you know, suck it up. You know what I mean, it's alright.
yeah.
We're gonna be alright.
That makes sense.
If I go deaf, I'll figure it out later.
Now, with this gig here, I know it wasn't for the free, and I'm gonna follow up with something else. But I know it wasn't for the free. So how much was every model paid?
Not a lot, bro. We got like maybe like $100, $200, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely
You
wasn't.
couldn't
I was
even
not
buy a
expecting that
Yeezy
number.
item with that.
Yeah. We
Can't
definitely
now.
did
Did
that.
they give you the swag for free?
They gave us like a little bit of the swag for free. Like we
Man,
like,
I'm Robin.
I'm leaving here with a lot.
yeah,
Not
actually,
something
the only
a
thing I
lot.
got was some. All I got was socks. The socks. These socks.
Oh
the
my
wool
God.
socks.
Even when
Them
I'm
them shits
sorry to-
better be the warmest socks you have in your drawer.
I don't want to distract you, but I about a year and change ago, I was doing a production assistant gig for this. Honestly, you might have even been there. There was UGG was doing this event called Feel House in Brooklyn, in downtown Brooklyn.
Oh, okay,
And it
okay,
was a
okay.
pop-up shop that they created just to sell UGG stuff.
Word.
And just for like walking the floor and maintaining back of house, I got a free pair of UGG slippers that I still wear to this day.
Oh, wait.
So at least I got UGGs, but dang.
Yeah. I was actually at some UGG event, but I think it was in the city around the same time. Was this in like October? Around October?
Yeah, October of 2022. 2, I want to say.
Oh, really?
It was a while ago.
Okay.
But yeah, like I can't imagine Kanye wasn't trying to give up no jackets or nothing, man.
It was
Not the
not
balaclava
nothing.
for you to.
Super shiesty.
Yeah.
Like,
I would, you. It's kind of surprising how, but it's also a blessing how that person saw you on the street.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't
yeah.
need to do anything.
Yeah, no,
it was just
it was a blessing for sure.
Your presence just spoke for itself.
Yeah.
And she was like, I know exactly what I'm with. You
Grab that Negro. Yeah.
was she white?
She was white.
Get that now!
I have a question for you. It might be a generic one, but do you feel like anything that a person wears on their body, you call it fashion?
Oh yeah,
That's a good
one.
question.
It's not a generic one.
I guess yeah. In a sense, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I mean, like, I don't necessarily call like a fit that I wear to the gym like a fashion fit. But I think, you know, I would say anything that you step out in. You know what I mean? Like, if you stepped out, you know what I'm saying? Like, dinner, drinks, or whatever activities, like day to day.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of your fashion. You wake up in the morning, you pick a, you look at your wardrobe and you pick an outfit. I feel like, yeah, that's your fashion.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say that it's one of my friends. I had this debate with him, and it was more so us discussing the trend of at that time, but I don't really see it too much anymore. It's just like outplayed. A lot of people just sagging their pants. Just the pants sagging, just showing off your ass in front of everybody.
It's actually very in right now.
And so I was like, how did that come about to where that formed from the prison system, and then now everybody's seeing that as like, oh, okay, I can actually put that as a style for myself. But it's been like that for the longest time.
The last 30, 40 years.
You know why? I feel like
Right?
the 2000s fashions, early 2000s fashions in right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you see like like Lil Wayne, Dipset, all the sagging their pants, baggy jeans, Timbs, all that kind of stuff is now prominent in today's society right now. So that's why like I feel like the resurgence. I mean, it's always been a thing, sagging the pants, especially like in like the inner city and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But especially nowadays, like you'll see like just people just doing it for the trend, for the fashion trend.
It's interesting because I actually was thinking to ask you, and this isn't a fully formed question, but in many ways, many different things are cyclical, right? Like many,
100%,
we see obviously films, either if they're not outright remakes or reboots, they reincorporate ideas.
Oh, yeah,
hip hop
for sure.
as a sampling art, things come back around. Do
Yeah.
you feel like within the world of fashion that turntable is even shorter? I feel like
way shorter.
Yeah, like
Definitely.
the ways that
Especially-
things go in and out of style
But
seems so quick.
Even social media has played a huge part on that in terms of
On the speeding up and the slowing down.
it's speeding up and slowing down. You know what I mean? Like something that's hot. Because I feel like when I was first getting into clothes and stuff like that, things had to make their way from different demographics to spread around the world. Nowadays, it's so instant. Like something that could be a viral clip that hits the internet right now. Everyone's seeing it around the whole globe, and then they can emulate that immediately. So
That's true.
Things are like a lot more different. Things had to literally spread from a city. If you take it back to the 90s, even before like social media. Like things that like literally went by word of mouth, like just like people seeing people from New York. Oh, you got the Timbs. Oh, word, like that's fire. Like, oh, I'm gonna tap in. This is how this demographic dresses and stuff like that. And now, like we don't. It's definitely a lot smaller. That gap is a lot smaller. Like you don't see that a lot in terms of like different demographics, like having the original, kind of style, and that's spreading on to like okay, like damn, I saw some motherfuckers from New York had that on. Like, no, I want to incorporate that. And then your town's like, oh, you got that on? I got that from New York. And then like, they kind of, it's a lot slower to like grow a trend and stuff like that. Like, but nowadays it's like one clip.
Yeah.
TikTok
and all that.
Everyone's on it and they get played out, and then people are just constantly looking for the next thing. It's like that constant dopamine rush of like new. Instead of like letting things play out for quite a while. So yeah, for sure that gap is like super small. Like something that's hot right now could be done in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if that. Yeah, you're very right. And I'm glad you asked that question, Ahmad, about fashion, because I guess the way I've always tried to rationalize it, although I don't know I don't know if you would agree, is sort of subjective versus objective thing in terms of here is what is considered fashionable by professionals, whereas style is something more personal, right? Like your personal style may not be in fashion,
right?
So to speak.
True,
but I don't know if you found if you make that delineation for yourself or
definitely 100%. That's the one thing that's kind of good about today's new fashion is that a lot of different aesthetics are in quote unquote in style, meaning that you can find your niche in fashion, just whatever you want to wear. If you want to wear some gothic stuff, there's people like that for you. If you want to wear like something very preppy, there's people like that for you. So
or one look for every day of the week.
Exactly. Or kind of mix it, intertwine. And then the fashion houses nowadays, like it's almost like everything's more like a DIY now. So it's all about do it yourself in a sense. So it's like even in brands, stuff like that, like people are buying less luxury brands and buying more like random Instagram brands. You know what I mean? That are cool. Yeah. Thrift stores, like older stuff. So it's like, like almost like the fashion houses are kind of, people emulate it a little bit, but like that's less like, oh, this is what's hot just because like Gucci's making. Like people will say that shit is whack. You know what I mean? Yeah. And wear something completely different if it's not it. Like so like that's the one thing I do like about today's fashion is that like people aren't really riding the name of brands nowadays. It's more about like the aesthetic and like what that clothing is that means to you. If you like it, you put it on and it speaks to you. Then it speaks to you.
Right.
How do you deal with the superficiality within fashion? Like, how do you make it mean more to you, whereas to others it can seem like a silly thing?
I feel like just as remaining as true to yourself as possible, you kind of have to just like, ignore some of the circus that happens in the fashion world, just like in general. You know what I mean? Like social media and stuff like that. It can be definitely very superficial. People are interesting human beings, online in person. So, you kind of just have to, mitigate that a little bit and just kind of take everything with a grain of salt and just know that some of the stuff on social media just like, it's not in real life. It's like, it's just social media.
Yeah. And what would you say more about the circus?
There's a lot of like, as I said, like prior, like, the copy and pasting of stuff, like, people thinking like people being Hollywood, like thinking like they got little followers that world is kind of like disconnected in the actual real world. Like you just have to be kind of be a professional in what you're doing and stuff like that. I do it all the time, like with my company and stuff like that. Like talking to some of these influencers, it's crazy. I was like, wow, like you want to this like be on me for asking you to make the client's post on time. You want to get an attitude with me. All right, now I'm gonna cut you off and not get you any more brand deals and see how what I'm saying, like when you're not making any money. So it's just like having the power to do that is like it's good. I guess I like having that. Yeah. But just dealing with just some of these people like day to day. It's just like wow, like you completely let yourself engulf in this world. You kind of have to like understand that this is just a tool. Yeah. And like the real world is more important. Like real connection with real people is more important than like any of the other stuff that goes on. I'm just everyone's a regular person out here just doing their own thing. You know what I mean?
That tees me up quite nicely for the question that I was going to ask. You told us that you did some work for Rock Nation. And you were just kind of alluding to, I think, some of that kind of work, but helping with brand management and whatnot for different influencers and celebrities. We're not going to have you name any names, but I'm curious, what lessons, either about entrepreneurship or about style and fashion, did you learn during that time?
Not necessarily. I was working like the esports division.
Okay.
So not really anything in fashion, but I definitely learned a lot in terms of just like being like a manager and like doing things on social media and stuff like that, and just also just being around like a lot of like successful people, just also like open the doors for other things and stuff like that. So it definitely like gave me like a lot of the steps to kind of be like, oh okay, like now I know how to do that a little bit, like in terms of like become a social media manager and like
Obviously, you could apply those skills to your own brand.
Yeah, and I kind of like applied that to a field that I'm more passionate about, which is the fashion industry. So
yeah.
I just kind of like use those skills, use those lessons, and just kind of hone them into eventually starting my own company.
Yeah.
And so, let's talk about that shit.
I was going to ask about his company. Yeah.
Tell us about it. We would love to know.
Yeah, for sure. So
Shark Tank.
So I guess like shortly after I started working at Rock Nation, I worked for a startup out in Los Angeles, and I was again doing the social media management stuff and campaign strategies for brands. But I was just working for a company, so I was kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing now. But I was working for a company out in Los Angeles, and then I kind of left that. I was getting a little bit weird, like the back and forth between like Los Angeles and New York. It was just a little bit strange. I thought I was gonna end up moving to Los Angeles, but I ended up not doing that, so I stayed in New York. So it was just like started my own company called No Brainer Agency, and we basically we're a full service digital marketing agency, and we work primarily with doing marketing campaigns for fashion brands.
Okay.
So whether that be like influencer marketing stuff, so we have like influencers and celebrities that are assigned to my company, and whether it be like, they need promotion, like have them, put something on, like let's say you have, Prada has a fragrance campaign that they're launching, and they want to give it to the influencers, have them do some content with that kind of stuff. We could do that collab, or we could do like their social media, like take over their social media stuff, which is actually something I'm about to do with a new client right now. Or we could photography, like pretty much it's full service, but the main thing is like influencer marketing stuff.
Okay,
like
so
influencers kind of like are very powerful in terms of what they could do for a fashion brand or just any brand in general.
So you kind of, if I'm understanding, you kind of connect established brands to the influencers.
Creatives.
You're the middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
For that.
Exactly.
Understood.
Yeah. Like pretty much like that's marketing nowadays. It's all digital. People aren't spending less money on like TV ads and like magazine ads. It's more like about like seeing something real and tangible. Like people like will gravitate to seeing on their favorite celebrity. Like what I'm saying, like if Kanye West puts something on right now, and like people are gonna like he's gonna have millions, tens of millions of people, but trying to get that item because he just like so
just because he wore
it. So it's just like kind of like figure out the brand's niche. Right now we primarily work in fashion, and kind of pairing that up to the right like-minded creatives to kind of create the content and kind of push that out there, so then the brand can generate traction. There's a lot of like brands nowadays that kind of start on social media. They kind of need that help in terms of like pushing the product out there and getting it to more audiences. So that's kind of what we specialize in doing.
Yeah, that's a great service.
And I guess like I'm sorry about that too.
No.
But the main thing that makes I think my company special is that it's a non-exclusive agency in terms of our on both sides, in terms of the brand and the creative.
Okay.
Meaning that the creative has all the freedom to work with any other brand,
right,
without our interference at all.
Yeah.
We just take a percentage of the deals that we get them directly.
So
right.
like a management.
That's why I named it No Brainer, because a lot of agencies will, let's say like if you're a talent agency, like you're an actor, or you're a model, whatever, you're signed to an agency, they kind of dictate everything you do. You can't do anything on your own and stuff like that. You have to run through the agency and do all that kind of stuff, which I, being a creative, know that that's not sustainable and sufficient, at least in my eyes. Like I want to have, I like to have control over what I do.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And if I get a independent, like if let's just say like a big brand reaches out to me directly, I want to be able to work with them without interference from my agency, because I got that deal on my own.
Yes, exactly.
I think what makes a good agency is that you have to kind of work hard and get more clients to get your talent more deals, and you could make more money that way. I don't think you should be able to control your talent and tell them what they can and cannot do and stuff like that. That should be I want the creative to have as much freedom as possible. So I made it non-exclusive. So it's just kind of hands-free, no strings attached. It's like whatever deals we get you, we take a percentage on, and whatever deals you get on your own, you could do that stuff on your own without our interference in any way. So a lot of our creators are definitely like that, and it makes it kind of like a no-brainer, hence the name.
Yeah.
To sign up and be a part of the agency, because we're not gonna. It's really no-brainer. Yes.
No, I think that's it's important for creatives to feel autonomy. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Not be tied up to a company.
And supported in their autonomy.
Yeah. Particularly in a field where like you are like your physical being is monetized. It's how you make money. So you don't want to feel like you're tied to a particular.
Exactly.
Then it starts getting weird. When you're telling me who I can and can't pose for.
And then they're not putting you out, and then it's like you're not doing any work at all. You know what I mean? It's just like because you can't work with anyone without running through the agency. So it's kind of like we kind of wanted to cut all that. We wanted to make it very like creative friendly and also friendly for our brand, our clients as well. I have probably a litany of like popcorn questions that come to mind just in the topic of style and fashion and whatnot. But one more kind of detailed one before I get into those is New York Fashion Week. Obviously, that's a big event every time it happens. And because I'm not really tuned into the fashion world, I'm always taken by surprise when it happens. But I imagine that that's something that you've participated in. For sure, yeah. And so how do you personally prepare for New York Fashion Week? What's like your... Honestly, like, New York Fashion Week isn't the strongest as the other fashion weeks across the world. Okay. Paris Fashion Week is number one. That's so. Yes. I went out there in September. I was working with a couple of brands, and that experience was just like trumped any New York Fashion Week experience that I've had. New York Fashion Week was really good. I think prior to COVID, when COVID happened, it's kind of like people started shifting to Paris, and like it never really was the same since then. And then, again, like starting with the superficial of it all, like, you know, you have influencers thinking this shit now and stuff like that, and like just people like migrate to New York. It's kind of a New York City problem in general. It's like, you know, just people like migrate to New York City and just want to, you know, be a part of this big, you know, Big Apple stuff that goes on. Use it as the backdrop. Yeah, exactly. So you literally have people like that fly into New York City for Fashion Week and try to like get into stuff. They have no association with any of the brands and like not invited or anything. Just try to like pop out. Yeah. Which is like, you know, I'm glad that, you know, it's spread to that, you know, be at that big of a scale, but it's just, you know, it takes away from like people that are actually like enthusiasts in the industry. Yeah. So Jude, you're kind of competing with, you know. No, what you said was really cool. Yeah. Using New York City as a backdrop. Yeah. That's how I feel a lot about these motherfuckers out here. You know, for real. People gentrifying the neighborhood. Not just gentrifying. It's more like a lot of young people between like Gen Z and millennials that are now becoming adults and decide to move into the city. They're just having their fun here. Yeah. Right. And I take it personally as like a little bit of disrespect. 100%. You know, like I'm from here. We're from here. Like, this is like this is like where I'm from. It's like I came, you know, you're one horse town in, you know, Kansas. Decided to run shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, like you can't just complain about my crackheads. Like, don't talk about my crackheads. These are my crackheads. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like now my neighbor's expensive. They are my crackheads. Like what? Like I didn't choose to be from. I'm literally from like this is like where I didn't choose to be here. Like I'm here. I'm out here. No, yeah. No, that's it's also I think this is home. It's astonishing in that sense that, and I mean, first of all, we are a New York-based podcast run by 3 New Yorkers, so it's inevitable that we talk about the city in some way, shape, or form. But it's astonishing that like the idea of New York still persists, just like as like this place of opportunity, despite like all the craziness that's going on. Yeah, right? Like it's always going to be that way. It's grown exponentially though since the COVID virus. In the last like 2 years, it's really grown. Into the fashion or just everything else? Just New York City in general. Yeah. Like it's really become like glorified. Which is crazy. Beyond compared. It's always been, not crazy glorified. Though, because if you survive New York, I mean, as they say, you make it here, you can make it anywhere. Yeah. If you survive New York during COVID, you can really make it anywhere. Yeah. If you survive New York after COVID, where everything is mad expensive, inflation is high, the trains are extra dirty after COVID, right. You know, and with all the migrants and stuff's coming out, it's like it's almost like a badge of honor to be here and to have a hard time here, and then you can move on and do whatever you want. Right. To say that I came through New York at some point. Right. And no, you can't do that. Respectfully. Jude thinks we should rob them. Nah, straight up. I need reparations of some sort. Here's my thing. This is my thing about the city, or I would say this is for any big city, at least within the United States. I think that we should all be more involved citizens within our communities, you know, and
and we also have to invest in the community. You know, like example, my big brother Say. Shouts out to Say and Sarah. Y'all getting married soon. Love y'all. Say is from LA, and he was around my age. He came to the city, and from what he told me, he just felt like he needed to do something important here. So he went to Big Brother's Big Sister program to become a big, and I was his little, and he spent time with me all the time for like 4 or 5 years, and he went back to Philly, and then he went back to LA. But me and him still have this like brotherhood relationship. I'm a groomsman in his wedding, and not every transplant does that, and I think they have to. You have to invest in the community that you live in.
Mandatory civil service.
My joke about robbing niggas is just my joke, or start shooting in the air to keep the
rent down.
Yeah, to keep the rent down. But nah, like if you're gonna move to a place, you gotta invest in where you're going to. Like if any of us were to move to like LA for our opportunity, we gotta invest back.
That's a fact. Actually,
You go stand on the block. You just go.
They
shooting. You know what I'm saying? You got all of them. And that goes, and not for nothing, that will go for black transplants too. We let a lot of black ones slide. When they the motherfuckers who are also keeping my rent high. I'm just saying.
Yeah, put that telescope up.
Skin folk always kinfolk.
That's true.
So you better get your butt to youth build and mentor some of these kids, motherfucker.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Yeah. Like if you're gonna pull up here and really enjoy the city, you have to like tap back in.
Oh yeah. Go to a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
I was about to say it
doesn't do something,
have
bro.
to even include money at all. Just,
no, it don't.
You can give back to the community.
No, be intimate with it.
Yeah.
So
Grant, what's a way that you think, like, how do you pay it forward in the fashion world? How do you mentor someone in style and in fashion? Is that a thing, or I mean, I'm sure it is.
we did a master class.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to mentor me.
Y'all the same height.
Got you. Honestly, like I have a lot of like people that reach out, trying to like. Not only up their style, but just like figure out how to get back into it. I try to like, respond to all those messages the best I can, give advice here and there, like, whenever I can give advice. And then obviously eventually I want to like do more with the agency, like do events and stuff like that. Like, to upcoming designers, like, help upcoming designers and stuff like that, upcoming creatives and, to kind of do all that kind of stuff to that. So like use my agency as a platform to maybe like throw events and like help people like, like really make it out here.
Yeah.
That's like that's my goal. I still have to make it out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough.
But like when I'm put in that position, that's my goal. To obviously like always like pave the way. Help people. Make everyone's footsteps easier.
I hear that.
Ask people differently. So.
Okay, I have some questions. I have one that I think will be fun. But go ahead.
Brooklyn or Harlem?
That's a question.
Wait, specifically in terms of fashion or just in general?
In terms of fashion.
In terms of fashion.
Because in general, we all know what's up.
Because you be in Brooklyn, Grant.
In terms of fashion, I gotta say Brooklyn. Just because, like...
That's fair. Okay.
Like...
Dang.
Yeah, that's like...
Dipset era has ended and we don't have to...
It has not ended, okay?
We don't have the big...
Cameron shower curtain is still in my house.
Maybe like historically... You would say Harlem.
Yeah, right.
For sure. Right now, I would say Brooklyn, though.
Because that's where all the transplants are going.
Fair.
That is true. But they only go to two neighborhoods, Williamsburg, no, three.
Park Slope.
Best-Eye, Williamsburg, and Bushwick. Those are the only neighborhoods that transplants know in Brooklyn. Williamsburg is like a Manhattan now.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure is.
They have a Hermes store.
If you could turn back the clock like 30 years ago in Williamsburg, you wouldn't go there.
No, I'm sure not.
You wouldn't even come to Harlem. It's just like how much it has changed.
I miss the old Harlem.
You weren't even alive.
I don't care, bro. I miss like Harlem in 2005. Like, remember when the street lamps were like flat? Like it had like a by the Apollo Theater.
Oh,
I always liked the street lights that they had
they
over
were
here.
like kind of squarish.
They were kind of squarish. They were flat.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm having a hard time putting it to words.
Hooked down.
Yeah, they hooked down. I don't know why. Something about that really was like, yo, this is home. This is nice. Just a damn street light. It's something so simple.
Yeah.
Human Bookstore. I forgot. Like
Human
Human Bookstore was
Bookstore.
right around the corner.
Yeah,
I miss the old Harlem, but you know, can't live in the past.
I guess not. Magic Johnson Theater's still here.
Yeah. And speaking of not living in the past, what is the future of your company? Like, what are your plans the next like 5 or so years?
I would say to do like big marketing campaigns for like big brands, like really big brands. I'm working with some big brands now, but really like be the sole company or like one of the sole companies that does like, you know, multi-million-dollar like marketing campaigns for big fashion brands. That's the goal for sure. And then also like do a lot of events. I was saying like events like kind of connecting the community to like doing like brand showcases.
Yeah.
So like events where like brands will kind of like, you know, tap in and they can kind of showcase their brands, like, you know, kind of bring that like the enthusiast back.
Yes.
To you know, to aspects, not just like the social media side. Like that's like get weird sometimes where everyone's just trying to blow up and like do things like get numbers and all that kind of stuff. But I actually really tap it back into like the people that really like enjoy doing this kind of stuff, kind of like giving them a platform and giving them like an opportunity to showcase to other enthusiasts and stuff like that. So that's like that definitely something that's in the works for the agency for sure.
Your posting schedule is probably decreased as you've become more active in your business, right? Like,
for sure, yeah. I don't like have the amount of time some of these, because you know the creatives now like they start young. I mean, you bunch of like 18, 19-year-olds, and like, I remember that being that age. I was, you know, out here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you have so much more times, like be out here and tap in. Now everyone has a phone, like which is to give them a camera, a mic, and everything at once. You know what I mean? Into their day-to-day lives, so they're able to like just, you know, really showcase and, you know, create a lot more than I am able to do. But I want to get definitely back into like posting regularly and stuff like that. Like kind of really, you know, get back into being out here.
For you,
you know what I'm saying?
Mainly for you.
Yeah, for me, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ahmad, you had
going back to your company there, because you was like you would know when people actually want to actually see this as like their passion, you know, something that they want. And how often do you normally like see that when people are trying to like be part of your agency? Like you already know like who's for it and who's not. Like who wants it just for the money and who wants it just because like this is something that they've been.
You actually really don't know until like I kind of like after a few emails you kind of know.
A few emails, a few conversations.
Yeah. After a few emails, you kind of understand like if they're new to this, if they're not new to this. You know what I mean? If they're, you know what I mean? Like how they kind of interact. And obviously, like whenever I deal with like PR, like for my personal deals, I try to be like as professional and nice as possible. It's kind of how. Maybe that's the reason why it's worked out for me over the years. You know what I mean? In terms of working with big brands and stuff like that, because like. I was, you know, try to be a human first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you have people out here that are just super entitled, like don't want to do stuff, and like as the person that's bringing the work, now I know like who not to work with.
Yeah.
You want you know, a team of people that are just, you know, making this very simple. Because at the end of the day, it's very simple. You know, the task at hand. So you want just like, you know, what I mean, it to be very smooth and very simple, and like, you know, you have to be able to do that at least as a creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a wonderful tip though. Be human first.
You gotta be like, you know, you gotta be you're a person at the end of the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might make some cool outfits, but you know, at the end of the day, you're just you know, whoever you are, and you're just blessed that we're able to, you know, in the new age of like social media and like and stuff like that, we're able to, you know, kind of monetize this field and you know, make a living from it. So, you know, it's cool that we're able to like, you know, be passionate about something so much that you're able to like do it for a living, like in New York City. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's have some fun. I got a question for you. What is the most overrated and underrated accessory in fashion, in your opinion?
Overrated accessory has got to be, for me, it's hats and hoods.
It's what?
Hats and hoods.
Hats and hoods. Overrated.
Only because I don't look good in them, so I'm like envious.
I get that though, because hats are hard for me to pull off.
I can't really pull off hats and hoods.
I can so bucket hat. I gotten into those.
In my opinion, like they're overrated because I don't eat them and I'm fly. So you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So So like really,
it's like I don't gotta hide my hairline. My hairline good.
Nice.
So yeah. But and the most underrated accessory for me is a watch. I just think like
Yeah.
I mean I've gotten into watches like kind of over the years, and just having like a nice watch and like having appreciating value and stuff like that, like it's a good investment to invest in.
That's a great answer, particularly because with the advent of smartwatches, people don't really wear other kinds of watches anymore. But I mean, I still have a collection of a few. They're very basic watches, but that I like to put on, even if they don't work anymore, when I'm dressing up, just because they look better than just having the Apple Watch on.
Right.
Pocket or wrist?
Wristwatch for sure. Yeah. Pocket watch cool though.
Yeah, pocket watch is cool.
Though.
I have a pocket watch.
Yeah, you know what?
Get the Peaky Blinder on you, like the.
Oh, you might have gave me an idea, man.
See?
You know what I'm saying? I might have incorporated that in the video.
Put them up.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, I got to put them up watch on. So, like,
you know what I mean? Like, but pocket watch could be fly for sure. Pocket watch could be fly.
Beat it, Toots. These streets aren't safe anymore. Okay.
It's just a train track, see?
Okay. How about?
Oh yeah, also an overrated accessory. One that I gotta go. Like the shiesty has to go, man.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Y'all looking hella
Yo, let me tell you a story real
too.
quick.
I hate it.
Grant, can I tell you a story?
Shiesty has to go.
How you
It's
feel?
so much.
At my GED program, one of the students has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they were looking at the program team was looking at the screen. This nigga kissed his girl through the shiesty.
That's
unnecessary.
Wait, was it covering his lips?
Yes.
That is fucking nuts,
That's
bro.
so unnecessary.
We gotta let it go.
You
man.
kiss
Shiesty
your
has
girl
got to
through
go.
the shiesty?
So what are we adding to the years ago we added Hennessy and Casamigos. We're
did.
boycotting them as black people. Now we're doing the shiesty. We got
Shiesty mask is
Shiesty mask gotta go.
Gotta go.
Wait. What's wrong with the Hennessy and Casamigos?
Everything is wrong with Hennessy Casamigos, but my brother. Since I was the one that said something about it. Okay?
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm fucking
No,
with
you
both of
drinking
them.
Casamigos at New Year's. Nigga.
It's on now. So I hate them both. They are hood classics,
They're definitely-
and it's just like every fucking party I was at had a Hennessy, and I'm like, bro, you need, just like fashion, you need variety in your type of
Word.
You need variety in
See?
your alcohol.
You know what
See,
Hennessy is
I'm
like,
a little
bro?
new. No, well, not new, but like
That's
in terms
fair.
of like not. I mean, a little bit sophisticated.
But it's also like a staple.
I
But
got
you-
you on the drink side.
Grant, let me hit you with an analogy, right? I feel like Hennessy and Casamigos at a party is like the nigga that always wears a turtleneck with Chelsea boots. And I say this as a dude who's wearing Chelsea boots right now with the gold chain over the turtleneck and the slacks and the pea coat, right? It's like, okay, it looks nice, but can we come up with something else?
Word. Okay.
There's so many different whiskeys. There's so many different.
There's amazing
tequilas.
liquor out there.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Word.
you
Just a bunch
don't
of
need
lushes.
to. We don't
Casamigos
need
is my staple. I can't even lie to you.
Casamigos is
I can't lie.
newer. It's newer than
Casamigos-
Hennessy.
It is
so
newer.
The Hennessy,
But it went
alright.
crazy.
Hennessy been going
Yeah, it
on
went
for a
crazy.
long time, okay? It's been going for a long time, and he's hanging up. Right?
Hennessy got a jersey in the rafters.
The Hennessy
It's
I
cool.
can't really attest to, but the Casamigos though,
Okay.
I'm a fan of the Casamigos. I do like my tequila.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
and there's nothing wrong.
It's
with
a
it.
smooth
Nothing wrong.
tequila. You can have it warm or chilled. I'm definitely fucking with Casamigos.
He said you cannot take.
Grant, I don't know what you
should
talking
not
about.
take me on Casamigos. Hey, it's almost like
He's ready to die on this hill.
you mentioned that like in terms of making the analogy back to the fashion world, and I would say like even if some things are overhyped, like they're still classics.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've still got mines.
Like McDonald's fries still hit. Like no matter what. McDonald's
Like,
fries
I don't
still
care if everyone drinking it. I'm still drinking because I
Right.
still find it fire. You know what I'm saying?
And to that point, yeah, there are certain clothing items that like they may seem overdone, but they can still work well depending on it's who's wearing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Who's
I still
wearing
love
it.
a turtleneck.
No,
It's just
exactly,
like I might vary up. You know how often I wear it. You know, or every time I dress up, it's not going to be a turtleneck. There's other options.
Right.
You know,
I was gonna say about like when you were talking about hats. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm like 5 years into fucking hats.
Mm-hmm.
Beforehand, when you remember me when I had this fucking fro. Like,
yeah, you couldn't.
I couldn't. I didn't know what to do.
You can wear a cast down the middle and you kind of poking out the side.
That's what I was doing.
Hey, see, come on now.
I just like what I did was I like held my hair and then I just like fit it on.
See, that is what my mom wanted me to do before I went to school, and I said I don't want to do that because I don't want to look crazy.
Nah, you wouldn't look crazy.
But his hair is different though. Like
Oh,
his
but you, I feel like
and
your
it was
hair was
bigger.
like softer than mine's. Mine like began to like do freeform dreadlocks because I didn't know how to take care of it properly. You was very good at taking care of your hair, so I think yours would have been a lot more tangible. And these weren't popping off at the time, but like a lot of the girls be wearing the joints with the bun opening. Oh, not so much like a visor, but like an extra opening in the back.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was. It was just more so. I had the fro and I didn't know what else the style.
Oh, like the twist you do now.
The twist didn't come into play until college. Okay. Like, it was always the fro. I didn't have no braids and nothing like that, and I never thought that I would wear a hat until college time. And I remember the first time that I did wear a hat, and I went into the house, and my mom saw me. And it went from a smile to a frown. And I was like, something wrong, something on my face. And she was like, I almost hit you. And I said, why?
When she thought
she was like, I thought you was their daddy, but yeah, it was one of those.
Picked up that slipper and
she had a book, and it was,
the book ready.
The book was ready, but I was very, very new to hats, and I'm just a rookie when it came to bucket hats. And so once I
would love to rock bucket hats. My head's too big. My head it's not the size, but my head is strangely shaped in such a way that it's hard for me to fit. I'm not lying.
He's like, I'm serious.
It's hard for me to fit. I can wear beanies. I can do a beanie. Right. But over the headphones. I can do beanies, but over my actual head, like bucket hats are just hard to fit. Sometimes fitted caps is hard because they don't.
You need to get
the snapbacks. The snapbacks, not fitteds. I can't close. It has to be the last class.
The last loop.
Yeah.
Goddamn. What about the HVO one works? The adjustable dad hats.
Yes, the HVO one does work. We're actually looking to make merch. We've been talking about making merch for years. Yeah. And the only thing we have are the 3 HVO dad caps that Jude got printed for us.
For Christmas, Jude,
that's behind you on the floor.
Oh my bad.
These are the only 3 in existence.
Those are the hats that we have
with our logo on it.
Yeah.
But
this is tough.
I'm curious if I could borrow your marketing expertise. I'll pay you $1. That's all I have. What items?
My 50 cents.
What items do you think would be worth putting branding on for us?
Hats for sure.
Hats for sure.
Hats are like everyone pretty much wear that. I'm like part of
the minority.
But I actually love hats, like to look at them.
Yeah.
But I just don't wear them myself.
We were thinking about woven shorts at one point.
Shorts, hats, like maybe an accessory too.
Socks.
We said dad
tote bag or something like that.
Tote bags.
The single mother snatcher tote bag. We're saying this.
We've had a good amount of
we got ideas. We just got to.
Yeah, and one of them was called Single Mother Snatcher.
It's him.
And,
that was his.
First of all, it's you out like that, but we want.
You're the one with the single mothers.
On the tote bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I fuck with that. I fuck with that idea.
Yeah, tote bag be tough.
And back to shiesty hoods. Get rid of them.
Speaking of that,
y'all look scary, man. Like, why do you want to look like that, man?
For no reason.
Like what?
Why? Who are you up against?
You know what I'm saying?
Who's out to get
that you can't be seen.
Like, know what I'm saying? If you have ops, I guess, bro, like do your thing.
The op is your school principal.
Bro, like, you try
Shouts out to Vince Staples because he really straight up said, "No one is looking for your bitch ass. No one is looking for you. You don't have ops. It's not cool to have. No one is looking for your bitch ass.
It's not even cool to have ops.
Yeah.
If you have ops, like you need to relocate. You know what I'm saying?
You need to go to jail.
Yeah.
There was a time I was at it was a Moxie rooftop dinner place, and we're like with these Broadway people and shit, and people having a good time. I see a nigga coming in with a pink shiesty mask, and I'm like, bro, nobody is here to get you right now. Okay, you around good looking people.
You're gonna get run up on by Gladys.
Gladys, you sold her money back in '52. Like, I don't know what's going on.
A pink shiesty is diabolical.
A pink shiesty with like,
which is also like counterproductive because aren't you gonna stand out even more with a hot?
What about the ski mask? Like the regular ski mask with the holes in it, but when niggas roll them up to make them into a beanie.
I mean,
I mean,
I didn't even
that's
think
cool,
about
but then
that.
just get a
No, you
beanie,
haven't
right?
seen that?
yeah, I haven't even seen that, to be honest.
Nah,
Nah,
man.
because the niggas gonna roll it back down. Nah, those gotta go too. No ski
No
mask,
mask.
no sightseeing.
Wipe it all out.
Period. The mask you should only have is the COVID mask.
We're over the mask.
Y'all remember
Yeah,
those
I'm
hoodies
saying,
that used
like,
to
we're not
zip
wearing
up
that shit.
All the way up, the
in
big
front of your
joints.
face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was like, if you ever.
Where put those on?
Grant, my last question for you is this. I just came up with it, but it's a desert island question. Let's say you're stranded on a desert island and you can only bring, let's say, let me be generous and say 10 items of clothing, not including underwear. You can have as much underwear as you need, but 10, 10 items of clothing.
And how's he gonna do all this laundry?
Well, it's just a hypothetical. Like if someone was like, what albums from the 2000s would you bring with you to a desert island? How are you going to play the albums? No one ever asked that question.
Yeah, sure.
But like the laundry, and then he has to wear.
He can wash them in the beach.
Yeah, listen,
That's a little funky.
salt water and all the fish doo doo and. Like,
If it was a desert island vacation and you had in-unit laundry, but yeah, like I guess
Okay.
what are
He was on
your
Love Island
favorite
and no one else was
your
there.
favorite clothing items basically?
Favorite clothing items? Wait, what's the weather though?
Moderate,
huge.
think of it like
It
a
gets
Caribbean.
chilly at night. It gets real chilly at night because you're at the beach.
Yeah, maybe when the sun goes down, it's a little cold. But
Chilly in the morning, chilly at night. Maybe like 70 to 90. Depends on the day.
Atlanta.
So it's hot.
Atlanta.
it's hot.
Yeah.
It's a hotter place. Yeah.
Yeah, but it gets super
like-
cold at
it's
night
like
because it's
I guess this depends on if you prefer dressing in the summer or in the winter.
Winter for sure.
Yeah, it's easier to
Yeah. I don't like the winter like that, but for outfits, yeah, like,
Easier to layer
it's-
things
You can
and-
put like more on the winter for sure.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite clothing items. That's a good question.
I think it's at 10.
10?
I'm sorry. Make it like 3. Just for this, I'm changing this question a lot.
3?
3 to 5 of your favorites.
I would say just like a black pant. I can't go wrong with a black pant. I like my Issey Miyake like pleated black pant. It was like clean, like good for the beach, like flowy. Like I like those a lot. In terms of, I have like an overcoat that I really really like. It's like a brown coat from Ami Paris.
Okay.
That one.
Is that the one?
Yeah, that one's fire, but I don't know if I could wear it on the island. So
I mean, it could be your blanket.
It might have to stay in the
It
crib.
could be your blanket.
Yeah, where,
when it gets cold, yeah.
I'll bring it. Why not? And then the third item. Yeah. Probably like one of my knit sweaters, like a knit sweater. I have one from like Sacraga, one of my friend's brands. That's really, really clean. So I'll probably bring one of those too.
How much is too much to spend on? This is I lied. There's another question.
That's a good question.
And I know it's
Amazing
it's
question.
relative to what you're wearing, but how much is too much to pay for like a
range.
pant versus a shirt versus shoes? Shoes tend to be very expensive,
Ridiculous.
but
so.
because they should last you for a while. I
Right,
guess,
right.
But they don't.
Not all of them do. Yeah.
I say like for me when I buy stuff, it's all about like what I can sell it for. Like how much of the value?
How can I flip it?
Yeah. Like is it gonna retain its value? So
Yeah.
even if it costs $200 or $100, if it's gonna worth zero, then I probably won't buy it. So, but if something costs $1,500 and it's gonna be worth $1,800, $2,000, then I might buy it. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like for me, it's basically like, how much value does it retain?
So then in that
I
case,
shop a lot secondhand. I don't really do like stuff in the stores.
Okay,
that much.
I was gonna ask that, and also like when you are buying things, then you're not necessarily buying with the intention to keep, or what's the balance?
Yeah.
of it?
I mean, if I really like it, I'll keep it. You know what I'm saying, for quite a while. But some pieces, like I do buy. Like I'm gonna wear it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna flip it, or like knowing that I'm gonna want to sell it like in like a year or 2
Right,
years.
so
Something like
you don't
Yeah.
wear your crisp white shoes when it's rainy and muddy outside.
Correct. Yeah, I try to keep. I always
Keep it pristine.
I like to keep my stuff really clean.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what
I mean, I always
I
figured that.
maximize the value for it.
Yeah, I always figured, if I'm fortunate enough to get a decent amount of money, that like it, I would still try to buy relatively not cheap in terms of quality, but like cheap in terms of actual cost clothing. But then I also think like, when you go to like the East Side and you see all these boutique shops that you never see anybody inside of, I'm like, well, these are probably the places that like someone is sending their stylist or their assistant, some rich celebrity, to shop for them to select pieces because they can't be out and seen with it. And then it doesn't matter what they cost because they can afford to just give you the black card. So they don't even realize that they're actually spending $1,500 on a gown, or not even a gown, on on a shirt, a slip shirt. But I guess I'd like to think that I'll always be involved in what I wear, but it must be a nice problem to have when you don't have to worry about what you put on in the morning.
Right. Yeah. It all depends on how wealthy I get. You know what I'm saying? Like, to walk in the store, buy whatever, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? If it's nothing, but, you know, as of right now, try to shop smart, shop secondhand, and, like, again, like, I buy pieces that I know I can retain, like, almost all their value.
Yeah. Any other
so,
questions, gentlemen?
Don't lose money.
So before I say my question, just a known fact that happened not too long ago. Philadelphia actually banned the use of wearing ski masks.
Yeah, as they should.
Shiesty mask.
That's how to go, bro.
It feels anti-black, but I'm okay with this brand of anti-blackness.
That's what I thought too, and I was like, I really don't give a shit.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that.
Point one.
I'm okay with this.
I'm okay with this one right here.
We'll allow it.
You call that racism? I need that racism.
Yep. They're saying if you like, you know, you're against taking the mask off, you have to pay a fine.
How much is the fine?
$250.
Yeah, that's totally. I'm so cool with that. Yeah. I am so cool with that.
To be honest.
And I was like, I agree with that. Because many times,
that's gotta go, bro.
Yeah, they said the new ban will face $250 fine. Great. They said those who wear one during the commission of a crime will be hit with a $2,000 fee on top of any other legal ramifications found in the act.
Yep. Cool with that. Great.
Yep.
Fine.
What was fucked up is what happened in Texas is that they kept the law or let the school keep their rule about the young man who was wearing dreadlocks that he has to cut his shits now.
Yeah.
If he were to go to school.
Him.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot.
It's not the first time that's happened before.
Nah.
Like, there was a person who had locks before his, and he's a wrestler, high school wrestler, and they said in order for him to compete in the match, they would need to cut his locks off.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's kind of fucked up.
And it's not like it was a weight cut issue in that one. That just sounds stupid.
It was just his hair.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, Grant, good sir, you have $1 million in your bank account.
Oh, gosh.
What is the first for yourself? Doesn't have to be for somebody else, probably for parents, but you know, but first thing for yourself that you would like to purchase.
Check from Balenciaga.
You know what? Since you give me the three, give me the three. First three.
Okay. Maybe like gut redo like my parents' crib type of shit, like my mom's crib.
Okay.
So like, you know, redo the crib completely.
Okay, now we got the good answer out of the way. We got the selfless answer.
Love you, Mom.
I like how he said gut and renovate, not just buy a new crib. It seems like your parents love their home.
Keep it. Yeah. And just, you know, like
improve it.
Improve it.
Number two,
fix the pipes. You know.
You know what I'm saying? I would. That's a good question. It's like just like purchasing things like not to tangible items now. All right, I would get like, you know, probably like a Rolex Presidential.
Okay.
Day.
Okay.
Gold, you know what I mean?
How much that run you?
That'd be cool, huh?
How much would that run you?
Since I have the $1 million, I'll probably get the new one. You know what I'm saying?
God
the
damn.
new one probably 40,000.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Get one of those.
That's generous. He still got some change.
And then
gold too.
after that, probably like any like really like big clothing piece I always like wanted. Like do a sweep and to get like all that shit.
Big bag.
Which store would you go to first?
Not necessarily in the store now. It's like I'll try to source like pieces that I really wanted for like a long time and like tap into those pieces and get them.
Okay.
Be able to, like, get
So you and this is when you say source. This is when you're buying from other people who do what you do, basically.
Right. Yeah. I'll go and Grailed or whatever. Like people like do secondhand selling stuff like the real and just like do a sweep of like all those pieces
That's
I really wanted.
fascinating. It'd be like that scene in the Family Guy episode where Lois becomes addicted to shoplifting and she's clearing off the racks into her bag, all into her purse.
I like doing this with the guests. Graham, what is the song your popular song that you're listening to right now.
A song I'm listening to right now?
That's like you like anytime it is on,
You replay it at least once.
you replay it. At least.
Word.
Yeah.
Probably like Back to Me by Kanye and Tyler Sign. I like that song. That's right. You know what I'm saying?
That Freddie Gibbs verse was
Yeah,
crazy.
Freddie Gibbs verse was crazy.
That Freddie Gibbs verse was insane.
That one, yeah. Probably that whole, that's the album right now.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I'm spinning for sure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I have yet to listen to the album.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it.
Kanye's crazy, but you know he's still a great musical artist.
Yeah.
All artists are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Besides that one you're listening to right now.
Favorite Kanye song?
What's your Kanye song?
Shit. I don't even know. That's a good question.
I asked the pressing
Too many
questions.
hits. Too many hits.
Yeah. There's honestly too many.
Mine is Drive Slow.
Where?
Okay.
Are we going around?
I guess we can go around real quick.
I mean, I probably listened to the least Kanye here, but Flashing Lights has always been a favorite.
Yeah, Flashing Lights fire.
Yeah.
Good Morning's fire.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's got been up there for me.
I won't lie. I might do that's the shit I don't like. I mean, I know he's featured with everybody else, but that shit goes hard.
That does go hard,
every single
bro.
time. And Black Skinhead.
Who's your favorite verse on the Don't Like remix that he did?
Yeah, he's
I ain't gonna lie to you. Keith had me on that one right there. Chief Keith had me on that one. When I first heard it, I was like,
Keep went
fuck.
crazy on that joint.
But then,
Jada Kiss.
not. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love you, but I wasn't that much of a Jadakiss fan at that time.
Hey, man.
Jadakiss is fire. Oh yeah.
Jadakiss is fire. It sure is. Sure is.
He destroyed Cameron. I'm surprised I'm still alive in Harlem. Listen to that.
Well, Grant, I know obviously you've been able to talk a lot about your business and a lot about how you got your start. Is there anything as we close out that you want to plug? Where can people find you? What are you working on next before we
Yeah. And if you want to just follow my personal Instagram, you know, it's Lord Grant with a V _ Grant. So LVRD _ Grant. That's my personal page. If y'all want to check me out, you know what I'm saying? Much love.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah, just like, you know, I'll be just follow my company, like No Brainer. You know what I mean? Just tap into that. We're gonna have a lot of events and like cool stuff like as I, you know, venture into this you know, realm of,
and of course complimentary tickets for Harlem's very own podcast.
Yeah. Like, if you're a brand, you want to tap in, you know what I mean? Tap in some services, let me know. And yeah, just keep going with that. Like that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all having me for sure.
Yes, Grant. Thanks so much. It's great to have you on. If y'all want more Uptown Love, you know where to find us. Apple, Spotify, Podbean app, YouTube. Rate and review the show wherever you get it. It greatly helps us out.
Your girl's search history.
Oh
my God! Wow! Wear your condoms and get tested.
Top of the dome.
But that was
top of the morning.
I have nothing left to say.
Woo!
Good night.
Happy Black History Month. Love y'all.